you need to overinvest in marketing to get the ball running. And so some of these brand building activities are a little bit more expensive up front, but they pay off long term. Yeah, so there are two approaches to spending on marketing. One is affordability, which ends up being what a lot of people do, and it's how much can you just afford to spend on marketing right now? And that could be enough. Starting somewhere, you can just get some gains and then show some sort of return on investment. But the better way to budget for marketing is to look at your overall costs. So if you're looking at your pricing structure and you have X percent of margin, then you look at that margin and you say, of that margin, how much would I be willing to give for a marketing lead? And so if I were to close someone, how much of that margin would I be willing to spend on marketing to close them? And then you look at your customer goals. So say you have 10,000 customers that you want to reach by the end of the year. You would multiply that 10,000 by the amount of margin that you'd be willing to spend for each customer. And that can give you a high level idea of a marketing budget. What I would say is for companies who are just starting, you need to overinvest in marketing to get the ball running. And so some of these brand building activities are a little bit more expensive up front, but they pay off long term. And so you need to balance a bit of the quick wins with the long term strategic thinking so that you can go and build your marketing programs and scale up sustainably.
That's really interesting, thinking about it in those ways. And when it comes to acquiring these new customers and getting that math right, a lot of times there's a lot of gray areas or kind of murky waters, right, for people to understand clearly how much is it costing them. But it's very important to understand that I think what you said about getting the ball rolling, especially in the beginning, there is a momentum factor involved with marketing as well, right? So it's once you start investing into it, it takes a little bit of time sometimes to get the traction and then get that snowball effect. But once you do have it working in your favor, it becomes easier to maintain as well. What about somebody who does possess a larger budget? A company that really has a recurring year-over-year allocation towards marketing spend. Their revenue may be in millions of dollars. How would you approach marketing budget allocation in those cases?
So I would make sure that the company looks at a full funnel approach. I talk about this quite often because it's an easy trap for companies to always fall into the bottom part of the funnel where you can actually measure results and you know that the search intent or the intent for purchase is high. And so knowing that the intent for purchase is high, it's easy to spend on those customers because you know that you're probably going to convert them. But that becomes really expensive. And at the end of the day, you're going to tap out. There's going to be a limited amount of success you can get by only focusing on the bottom of the funnel. And so what I would recommend is making sure that you're allocating budget to different parts of the funnel. I would say at least 20% of your budget should go towards brand marketing, filling that top end of the funnel, getting awareness, because if someone's never heard of you, why would they even want to transact with you? And so making sure that they've heard about you, priming those availability pathways in their brain to say they've heard of you, they've seen you around, building that trust and credibility with that customer allows the bottom end of your funnel to be a lot more effective and actually can increase conversion rates later on.